Hello, everyone. This is Steve, Young Adult Librarian at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. So today I'm going to do um, a video on pop-up book elements that you can add to a bookmark. The other day I was looking at my bookshelf and saw a book I have on how to make pop-up books, and then I was taking a walk and I was like, yeah, maybe I can do a class on that. And then I was like, yeah, I wonder if I can do something for a video. And then that led me to, oh, I wonder if I can incorporate some of these elements into a bookmark. So during my walk, I brainstormed ideas, and then I came back and started giving it a try. So the products, supplies you'll need for this activity are very simple. You'll need some kind of paper. So some of these I use just regular old printer paper. You can use something more durable if you have it, something more cardstock type, paper if you have that. If you use something that's thicker, it's going to have more durability. I'm going to show you a trick I use though when I use something like printer paper to give it a little bit of protection. You will need something, to decorate your design with. So I use colored pencils, of course, usually what I go to. Use markers. You can use all kinds of different paper too. Again, construction paper, origami paper, pretty much anything you can come up with. So hopefully you have something like that around the house. Again, something to color or put a design on your paper. Then I also use tape, both to seal my bookmark, and I like to use this more rugged packing tape if you have it. Otherwise, Scotch tape will, also work. So when I came back, I decided that I would just try to do something that was almost like a basic pop-up book. One of the most basic elements is just like a pull tab. So what I did was I made what I call my sheath, which is I just measured out. You can see I measured out like 3 inches, and then I did 5 inches on the side. You can make this, these any dimension you want, so don't feel like you're constrained to what I'm doing here. I just did a 3 by 5, and then I just took each side and folded it to the middle to make my sheath, and then that just made that protective outer cover. And then what I did was, to make my insert, you want to make something that's a little longer. So whereas my outer part, this outer sheath, was 5 inches, I made this 5.5. I made it a little smaller, so I made it 1.25 inches. So again, because you're wanting this to go inside your sheath and freely come in and out. And then I just, to make the little tab here, I just measured halfway, made myself a little tab here, cut it out. So in this case, these outer parts were 1/8 of an inch. The part there in the middle was 1/2 inch. And again, I just measure all this stuff out. Then I just cut everything with scissors. So you'll also need some scissors as well. And then this was my first one. So I just did a very, very, very basic, row of books. They don't even look that real. Colored them. Then I just, slapped some color on the back. And then I, again, brought those together and taped them. And then though, for my sheath, then I did a whole different design. So see where it says worm your way into books, and it has a bookmark there. So this totally comes out. So that gives you like 2 parts to it. Really, you could have 2 different bookmarks if you want. Again, I was trying to think, and again, you see how the insert is a little bit smaller so that it slides easy with no problem. And then what I do, I was telling you, like what I use this packing tape for, is to almost give it like a lamination. So then I just coated everything in that, and that gives it a durability. Again, your pencils or markers or whatever won't come off on your books, but again, it gives it a little bit of rigidity. It's going to give it some protection. And so again, I also did tape, what I call tape laminating this part too. So I thought this was cool. So that was my first, and to give me inspiration just to try things out to see if it'll work. So that was that one. And then I went up, I was like, oh, what else could I do? So, I made this design with clouds, and then I designed this airplane, and I cut that out. Now, if I was doing this, I wouldn't have this airplane part sticking out of my book because you're just sort of asking for it to get damaged. So this is something that I would completely put inside a book. But I was trying to think of what element I could make for a pull that would tie into the element for the actual bookmark design there. So I came up with, I could do like a plane. It's flying through the clouds, and then it's doing like skywriting. So we got the sort of, I tried my best to make some cloud looking letters that say read. And so I thought that was a really cool way that I could, combine elements of both, what's on the outer sheath and then what's on the inside. Then my next one, I got a little more ambitious, and that's what I always do. I stick with the basic elements again just to try things, and then I slowly build up technique and concepts and ideas. So I decided I'd do a space theme, and so I did different space elements all over the place on my bookmark. And then I made a pull, sort of a pull tab here, where I made a rocket ship that I can pull across my bookmark. So I mean, it's a rocket ship, and if you know the Dewey Decimal System, you'll know what 520 is. But really, the only difference between this and the other ones is that I cut this channel. I made actually this a little wider, and then I cut a channel in the middle. And again, I usually just sort of wing it. I'll just say, okay, I think I need this a little wider, so I'll just, figure out what dimensions I want to try, especially for my first one. Then I just sort of said, okay, well, I want the channel to be this wide. And then what's underneath here, it's the same concept. Actually, I think I took a piece of cardstock and I just folded it in half. Let me see if I can undo this here. I just taped that up. So then what I did was, after I cut my channel, I just put sort of a rail down the center here of my bookmark. So I put that rail there, and then I made this collar here. So this collar that will then slide on the rail. And so I just taped the rail at both ends to give it, to secure it. And then I made my collar here, and I attached this red. I cut this actually from a folder because I wanted something for the pull to be a little bit more rigid when I pulled it. So again, you can see I have my collar here. I've got my rail that I taped down here below. And then I just decorated the front side of that rail to sort of blend in to match my design on my actual bookmark. And then I just used like a little sticky dot to attach my rocket ship to that collar, and then I can just pull it across like that. So I thought that was really another cool element of a pop-up book with like a slider that I could incorporate into a bookmark. And then finally, so this is one I haven't even completed yet. Hopefully you can see it because I wrote it in pencil. I thought to myself, like, okay, so let me see if I can take that last concept further, and let me see if I can do multiple sort of pull elements in a bookmark. So this is sort of a library setting here. Over here, this is self-checkout. This says scan items, place here. And then I have like a little receipt printer. And then if you pull this, then you see things change. So now it's sort of a book here on the plate, and this is the virtual librarian, and you have one here in your receipt. And if you pull it again, you have something called Ghost Stories. You have your book there on the pad, and then it changes to 2. So, again, I was trying to figure out how I could just, again, evolve what I'm learning. And I did a little bit different structure there. So again, I have this, thicker pull here. Then I just sort of did trusses across here. And I did rails again on both the top and the bottom. And those are my guides to keep, my pull from coming like off the track there. So that just keeps, my pull there. It sort of guides it. So in every, and each time I've done this, I sort of just, wing it, think, okay, how can I secure this? So then I just tape that top part of this, the rails, and I just use Scotch tape for this, just to make it snug when I put this in here. And again, then I just put these trusses across Again, just to give it a little more rigidity, to help keep this pull thing, in the channel so it doesn't pop out like that. So, again, every time I just try to build off the previous thing I've done, and continue to expand on what I learn. Again, I go back to watch videos on pop-up, books and cards and stuff like that to see like, oh, I can incorporate that into something like a bookmark. But this is a really cool way you can add some unique elements to a bookmark, again, for yourself or someone else. And so I hope you give this a try. We do have a wonderful product called Creative Bug. It's a database that you can use your West Bloomfield Library card to access, and it has just tons of great craft videos. So if I've inspired you and you want to take things a little further and learn something else new, go to our website, westbloomfieldlibrary.org, go to our e-library, and then look for Creative Bug. And again, with your West Bloomfield card, you can access that. So I hope you guys get out there and you're crafty, and I hope to see you soon. And I'd love to see what you guys come up with. And until next time, take care.